Hi everyone, I'm Lenore. I'm a singer and a voice teacher, and I want to talk in this video about vibrato. What is vibrato? Why everybody wants it? And I get a lot of questions about how to get vibrato, or how to make vibrato, how to use vibrato. Some people already have vibrato, some people don't, right? And then the question is, how do you get it? And why do you want to get it is maybe where we can start. So vibrato is that nice wavy quality that you have on certain notes when someone sings. And you will see, if you're watching any kind of reality TV show or any kind of reactions from anyone to certain singing, you usually get the cheers when you start hearing those waves in the voice. So you're singing, for example, I don't know, love of my life, you heard me. Yeah, and on the last note, you hear a little bit of e, and that's where people say, "Oh, that's beautiful." Yeah, so it is really associated for us humans with the beauty of the voice, with freedom of the voice, and that's why a lot of people want it. When they learn how to sing, they want to have vibrato in their voice. So let's talk a little bit about what makes the vibrato in the voice. Yeah. So in order to answer that, I need to make a distinction between two different parts of vibrato. Not different parts, sorry. Two different types of vibrato. There are two different ways in which vibrato is made. One of them is literally made by activating muscles, and the other one is just naturally occurring. So I will explain about those two types, but before, I'll just tell you a little story that will help demonstrating two types of vibrato, the made one and the naturally occurring one. So I was a singing student back in the day. I was training my voice for years by then. I was getting solo parts in my choir. I was getting roles in productions at my college. Like I thought I was doing very well. The problem is the way I was singing was forceful. I got away with it, so I could sort of sound okay, but I made a lot of effort for singing. So I could pass an audition, but then when I knew that I had, a big role in front of me and I have to sing for a chunk of time, I would be in big trouble. And it wasn't until almost like a decade after I started my training, when I went to New York, I got that remark. I got the feedback from my teacher in New York that I'm doing something extremely wrong with my vibrato. And she was just going on and on about how forceful it is. I didn't know what she was talking about because I was not aware that I was doing anything. But then her husband was also a voice teacher, explained it to me in a bit different terms. He told me, look, when you sing with vibrato, you grab your larynx and you shake it. That's what's going on. Yeah? And let me demonstrate it for you. I can still do it because I grew up that way, like the first 30 plus years of my life. That's how I would sing. Yeah? So you just go, ah, that's how I do it. Ah, that's my larynx being shaken by the muscles around the throat. You can imagine that's not a good thing, right? Like if you're putting pressure on your throat, probably not a good thing. But it was so natural for me and so automatic. That's how I would do it. So it didn't even feel like something that I'm doing extra. He told me if I did that, I don't know if I would even survive it. Like I don't even want to think about what that feels like. That sounds horrible. He said it with love, yeah? So the way you should do it is by opening the passage, opening the airway, closing the vocal cords, and then the consistency of the airflow. And that's something that I did in that lesson with my teacher when I was not really sure what was going on. But after he explained it to me, I reflected and I could put it together. So what I did to create the natural occurring vibrato, which sounds like this, ah, that's me not making the vibrato. Yeah? So again, making the vibrato, ah, and that's natural. Ah, I don't know if you can tell a difference. I definitely can. They both sound good, but one of them is much, much freer. Yeah. So opening up the airway here, which by the way goes from the trachea, the air pipe, and continues to the pharynx. That's the space beyond your nose, mouth, and larynx. Yeah. So all of this is one line. And by the way, the line goes all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. And what I did in the lesson that was really helpful is to think about a consistent flow of air going like this. Yeah? So that's just one trick. You can also do it in different ways, but that's what I did in the lesson. I opened the space the way I learned how to do it. And then I just visualized the consistent flow of air. Ah, and then that was a lot better. Yeah. So this is how a natural occurring vibrato should happen, is by you learning what you can about opening your resonances, freeing up your throat. I have a tutorial about open throat. I have a tutorial about resonance as well. So once you do that, you learn to close your vocal cords, which, we also have a tutorial for that. And those are the fundamentals to freeing up your voice. And the result of freeing up your voice is natural occurring vibrato. So right now, if you have vibrato that is maybe too much, maybe it's like trembling, is a little bit like a sheep, or like Edith Piaf has a little bit in her voice. Some singers just have that, and that's like their icon. Not necessarily wrong if it doesn't push on your throat, but if you're shaking your larynx, you probably are pushing on your throat. So if you have that tremor, that it feels like the vibrato is not controlled, then you probably also have the natural occurring vibrato in there, but you need to enable it by opening up your throat, resonances, and closing the vocal cords, and learning consistent airflow. Those are like basically three fundamentals, three principles, but it does take a while. If you are working on it, it is a process. And when you work on it, it will probably happen. Like in my experience, I've been teaching voice for almost 20 years. Usually when you have those fundamentals and you free up your voice, the vibrato is occurring. Yeah. Even if you didn't have it, by the way, to begin with. So if you have it already, that means you probably have it naturally. And if you didn't have it, you have a very high chance of it starting to happen. So I don't teach making vibrato. If you tell me, how do I get vibrato? How do I make vibrato? You don't. You get it by doing the process. You get it as a result. But you don't make it, not in my book, because I don't want you to shake your larynx with the muscles of your throat. Yeah. So if you want to see more examples of it, I did a reaction to The Weeknd, the singer, and he has both, and he's using both types of vibrato in his singing. So you can click on the reaction that I did to his singing, and then you'll be able to maybe, start wrapping your head around what it means to sing with both types of vibrato, and maybe reflect on which kind you think you have, if at all. So I'm very happy to get questions about this. This is a bit of a strange topic, and not many people are talking about it because it's difficult to explain. And a lot of teachers are teaching how to make vibrato. So that's very different from what I am with my approach and how I talk about it. So feel free to ask me any questions and enjoy singing. Bye.